I once was Hecuba, I once was a woman. I once was a woman. I once was Andromache. I once was the promise of what once was all of what once was good. I once was the wife of a hero. I once was the mother of tomorrow. I once was the dawn, and I once was the day, and I once was the dream. I once was Andromache. I once was a woman.
I once was a woman. I once was beautiful. I once was Helen of what once was Sparta and of what once was Troy. I once was the bride of a king, and I once was the bride of a god. I once was the siege, and I once was the surge. I once was the war. I once was Helen. I once was a woman. I once was a woman. I once was Cassandra. I once was the eye of what once was the storm of what once was. I once was desired by the sun, and I once was untouched then undone. I once was the window, I once was the door, and I once was the way. I once was Cassandra. I once was a woman.
I once was the bride of a king.
I once was the eye of a storm.
I once was a daughter. I once was a mother. I once was a start. I
Once was Cassandra.
I once was a woman.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. The history of the tragic story of these shores. This war, all wars, always the results of love, lust, money, and power. The circus of our mismanaged lives. But let me, before I digress, oh, welcome, welcome. I am Poseidon, your master of ceremonies, for this sad story, but one that we gods thought fit to tell and retell. The tales of these women of Troy, caught in the feats and acrobatics of fools and fortune tellers and fate. ring, eternal? Ah, yes. Did I mention that I am Poseidon? I come from the deep brines where the Nereids dance, encircling in choruses on vaultless feet. Ever since that day Apollo and I set down the enclosing towers and stone walls in this Trojan land, my heart has loved these people and their city. But now the city smolders, toppled, sacked by Greek spears. It was Athena's will that a brood mare, a gift horse full of weapons, hidden in its belly, was sent into the city walls, already heavy with death! The sacred groves are now deserted, and blood oozes from the temples of the gods. Priam lies cut down by the steps that rise to the altar Zeus, protector of the hearth. Pile on pile of gold and Trojan plunder is being dragged away to the Greek ships. And now, after 10 long years, the Greeks who crushed this city are only waiting for the right wind, a favoring wind to bring them home at last. Hera and Athena joined forces to destroy the Trojans and defeated me too. So I am deserting Troy, leaving this city and my altars here. For when desolation seizes a town, religion falters. The gods receive no honor! Cry echoes cry down the Scamander River, the cry of women suddenly enslaved, soon to be divvied up to masters. Here, under this tent, the still unchosen Trojan women wait, the ones the generals have set aside just for themselves. And among them is one, rightly treated as a captive slave, Helen of Sparta. And there is Hecuba, if anyone cares to see her. Unhappy woman, weeping her many tears for many reasons. Her daughter, Polyxena, was killed at Achilles' tomb mercilessly, though she doesn't know it yet. Priam, her husband, is dead. Her sons are dead. Her one remaining child, Cassandra, maddened by Apollo's touch and made untouchable, will soon be forced to sleep in Agamemnon's unholy bed. Taking her, he spurns Apollo's will and all piety. If Zeus's daughter hadn't destroyed you, Troy, you would still be standing today. Ladies and gentlemen, Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus.
May I put aside the bad blood between us and speak now to my father's close relation, whose awesome power is honored among the gods?
Of course, the ties of blood, Lady Athena, irresistibly charms the mind and heart.
I thank you for your kindness. I'd like to raise a subject that concerns us both, my lord.
But has a new directive been sent out from Zeus or one of the other gods?
No, it is for Troy's sake. Oh, where we are, standing now, that I should win your power to my side.
But has your hatred given way to pity now that fire has burned this city
Let's
down
keep
to
to the
ash?
subject. Will you advise me? Help me accomplish what I want to do?
One moment, my dear friends! Of course, but what is it you want to do and on whose behalf? The Greeks or the Trojans?
I want to help the Trojans, whom I've hated, and hurt the Greek troops as they journey home.
Why does your mind blow with the winds of chance? Too much this way or that in love or hate?
You saw how they insulted me. My temples.
Yes, when Ajax dragged Cassandra off by force.
And the Greeks said nothing, did nothing, they just looked on.
And yet you gave them the strength to conquer Troy.
That's why, with your help, I'd make them suffer.
I'll gladly help, but what do you want to do?
Make their homecoming a coming home to pain.
Right here on land or on the open sea?
At sea. Whoa, they are sailing home from Troy. Zeus, my father, will unleash an avalanche of rain and pummeling hailstorms black as night. He's promised to let me hurl his thunderbolts against the Greeks to blast their ships to nothing. As for you, your task is the Aegean Sea, to rile it up with towering waves and whirlpools until the deep bay churns with corpses, so that from now on, Greeks will learn to revere my awesome power and honor all gods.
Consider it done. What you've asked me to do needs only doing, not long speeches. I'll rouse the Aegean waters unto the shores of Mykonos, the jagged reefs of Delos, Skylos, and Limnos are clogged with countless bodies. Go to Olympus, and when you aim your father's thunderbolts, watch for the moment when the Greeks set sail. The man who sacks cities, who desecrates temples and graves the holy places of the dead, that man's a fool for all his pillaging. Sooner or later, his own destruction comes. What goes around comes around, no? Oh, the power we gods can wield. But that is the next story. Back to the present show. Now watch, ladies and gentlemen, as these poor noble and royal women play their roles to the end in this show of sorrows.
Lift it up off the ground. Look up. The Troy before you is no longer Troy. The Queen of Troy is queen no longer. This is the changing fortune you must bear. Bear it. Sail with destiny. Sail as you do, and have and will, on the winds of chance. Aye. What is not to mourn for in my misery? My homeland gone. My children gone. My husband. And you too. Ancestral glory, all that opulence, you added up to what? To nothing. silent now. And yet, why not be silent? Why sing a dirge? What good can it do? You daughters wed to ruin. Come. Let us keen for Troy. And like a mother hen for her fallen chicks, I'll cry the loudest. Though my song is not the song I once led honoring the gods.
Sing, Hecuba, sing!
I have no body except for pain. I am broken, shaved and exposed and bruised and stained. I am broken. Through my spine, through my limbs, through my temples, through my skin, I will never be open again. I have no future except for fear. I am broken. Tears are the only music I hear. I am broken. In my hands, in my heat, in my breathing, in my beat, I'm defined by my defeat. I have no asylum, I have no retreat. I am broken. An endless echo of endless grief. I am broken. Hear the cry, hear the roar from the hollows of my core. There is no Troy anymore. You ships with quickened oars that skimmed the blue waves to holy Troy, out past the beautiful calm harbors of Greece, while the war songs of your hateful flutes were sounding, you all laid anchor off the Trojan shore, hunting the hateful wife of Menelaus, she who killed Priam, father of 50 sons, who made me, wretched Hecuba, found her against the reef that she is. Look at me. Look at where I've come to. Look how bereft of home I am, a slave. An old woman slave. And Troy burns, swallowed up in flame.
The oarsmen of the Greeks are stirring. See how they're moving to the ship.
Is this their will? Has the time come to tear us from our ancestral home?
I don't know. I can only guess our ruin.
Hear the harsh toils that will soon
to be caught and the Greeks are getting ready to go home.
Oh, Troy, unlucky, unhappy Troy. Your time is over, and those who leave you are unhappy too. The living and the dead alike.
My queen, the Greeks, if they decided to kill us, wretched creatures that we
My
are.
children, I woke at dawn, my spirit racked with panic,
Has
terrified.
the Greek herald come already? Whose wretched chattel am I to
We'll
be?
learn at any moment now. Whose slave will I be? Where in this wide world shall I live my life out, doing drudge work? Stooped, mechanical, a less than feeble token of the dead, I who was once queen of Troy.
Let us lighten their mournful demeanors. Let us show you the daring survival feats of bravery and risk performed by the women of Troy. Men, the obstacle illusion. Let the circus of cruelty begin.
You ruined our lives! This brutal outrage! Never again to see my parents home!
When we can get you, babies.
Some Grayson's bed. I dread that like that faded dark.
We're gonna have fun in the dark, me and you, honey.
And under the weight of water, I'll be forced to draw from some sacred fountain.
I'll bend you over.
The choice were mine. I choose the land of Theseus, blessed, famous, but never for a moment to the detested home of Helen, where I'd have to lower my eyes to Menelaus, skirt of Troy.
Change the music before their illusions ruin the circus of fate. Men!
As I was saying, men, the obstacle illusion of no escape. Move it, ladies.
I could have my way. I'd rather be sailing. I'd rather be riding the waves and the wind.
I'd rather be distressing over overdressing. I'd rather be should I go out or staying. If I could have my way, I'd rather be sleeping. I'd rather be drowsy drifting away. I'd rather be browsing for a summer home. I'd rather be on holiday.
I'd rather fill the day from morning to morning with too many places to go,
Or waste the day away doing nothing at all. Mad at myself for moving so slow. If I could have my way, I'd rather be a goddess. I'd rather be living my life by my whim. I'd rather turn myself into a bird or tree until I'd rather be a goddess again. If I could have my way, if I could have my way, if I could have my way, I'd rather be sailing.
Yes, they dream. Castles and Prince Charmings and lands of milk and honey, but alas!
The merry-go-round of fate goes on.
Hey,
Here comes the herald of the Greek army.
ladies and gentlemen, we have the greatest clown of all, the reluctant messenger of men, Talthybius, who delivers with his sad eyes the fates of the ladies of Troy. Hear him sing his song of woe.
I'm the guy who has to deliver bad news, though I'd rather you found out some other way. I'm the guy who has to deliver bad news. Don't hate me for what I have come to say. Excuse the imposition, no, it wasn't my decision, but my burden is I cannot tell a lie. I'm the guy who has to deliver bad news. I'm the guy, I'm the guy, I'm the guy.
He's the guy who has to deliver bad news, though he'd rather you found out some other way. He's the guy who has to deliver bad news. Don't hate him for what he has come to say.
Excuse the imposition, no, it wasn't my decision, but my burden is I cannot tell a lie.
He's the guy who has to deliver bad news. He's the guy, he's the guy, he's the guy.
Hecuba, I can call you by your name because I've come so often as a herald from the Greek camp. I'm Talthybius. Surely you remember me from the times before. I've come again with news for all of you.
It's come at last, dear friends, what we have feared.
If what you feared is your assigned lots, yes.
Is it Thebes, dear God, or some other Thessalian city?
You've each been given to a separate master.
Given. To whom?
Where are we
And who am I now?
I know, I'll tell you, but you have to ask these questions one by one, not all at once.
My daughter. My poor girl, Cassandra. Tell me, who's taken her? Who's she been given to?
King Agamemnon picked her for his prize.
A queen's child. Now to be a slave to that Spartan queen? How can my misery get any worse?
No, not a slave, but a mistress, a bedmate.
But she is Apollo's virgin, to whom the golden-haired god has given the gift of never marrying.
Desire for the god seas go cut deep.
My child, hurl down your holy laurel branches and strip your body of the sacred wreaths you wear.
Yes, to attain a king's bed. What could be better?
And what of the youngest one you took from me? My little girl, what have you done with her?
Do you mean Polyxena or someone else?
Polyxena, yes, her fate is bound to whom?
She serves Achilles' tomb, that's the decree.
The child I bore. Guarding the tomb, what's this? Some long-established law, something decreed by custom among the Greeks?
Think of her at ease now, free of troubles.
What do you mean at ease now? Is she alive?
She's following her fate. Her cares are over.
And fierce-armed Hector's wife. That poor girl. What befalls her now? With whom?
Achilles' son has picked her for his prize.
And what of my fate? Who will I serve?
Odysseus, Lord of Ithaca, you'll be his slave.
Oh, God. Tear the shorn head. Rip cheeks with nails. Wail, scream. My luck is to serve the foulest man alive. Backstabber, foe of justice. Hell-born snake whose slick tongue twists everything to nothing, twisting love to hate and hate to love. Weep for me, Trojan women. Weep for this wretched fate, my ruin, the worst of all possible lots is mine.
Your fate is known, my lady. But what if it's fine? Where's
You could go inside and get Cassandra so I can turn her over to the commander and divvy up the others to the officers who drew their names.
No. Lovely Cassandra. Crazed and delirious to be mocked by the Greeks, as if the pain I felt weren't sharp enough already.
What now? Some torch flame bursting from inside the tent, soon to be torn from home, frantic. Has she set her room on fire? Or has she set fire to herself the way that free spirits do, find bad luck like this unbearable? I fear that what she will do will rile the Greeks and I'll get blamed.
There is no fire. No one's burning anything. It's just my daughter, Cassandra, delirious, running out to us.
See the death-defying flamethrower! See the mad woman Cassandra and her daring survival feats of earth-shattering predictions!
I don't think we should. She was the guardian of the
Too late, my
temple.
dear. This was because of your folly.
See how I lift the torch, how I wave it, whirl it, how my reverence for the temple flares, O Lord Hymenaeus. How blessed the bridegroom. How blessed the bride. How blessed the royal wedding, soon in Argos. And you, mother, while you weep, keening day and night for my dead father and our beloved country, it falls on me to set the torch fires blazing, to make them blaze in a wheel of radiance. Just as we did before, in glad times when my father lived. The dance is sacred. You lead the dance, Apollo! You lead the dance, I, crowned with bay leaf, offer sacrifice in your temple! And you, mother, you too lead the dance. Join in it joyously, and turning, as I turn, now here, now there, sing out the wedding song! Yes, celebrate the bride with jubilant singing.
Smile, Athena. Humor Apollo's mad creation in your ordered world.
Watch me, everybody watch and learn. This might be your last chance. Watch me do wonders or watch me burn. Watch Cassandra's fire dance.
She dances, she whirls. Will she explode in fire? Will she call your fate? Ah! Do you want to hear? Can you bear to hear what awaits you? She knows.
Join me, anybody play this game. Whirl me and lift me higher. Up and ecstatic or up in flame. Join Cassandra's dance of fire. Crown my head with flowers. Soon I shall belong to a king. Point me towards tomorrow. Claim my hand with a ring. Soon I shall belong to a king. Agamemnon, marry me. Take me to your home. The first night that we're man and wife is also the night that I'll kill you. I'll bring devastation to your home, and I'll avenge my father and brother's blood.
He's mad, of course.
Watch Cassandra, watch Cassandra, watch Cassandra's fire dance. Dance, Cassandra, dance, Cassandra's fire dance. Join Cassandra, join Cassandra, join Cassandra's fire dance. But why should I talk so much about this now? Why sing of the blade that's soon to slash my throat and the throat of others? Or how my marriage will set the plot in motion to butcher the mother and bring down the house of Atreus.
You're giddy at your own calamities and brightly sing of what your song keeps dark.
I may be mad, God-seized, but I will stand outside my madness just enough to show how luckier our city's lot is than the Greeks. Consider, for just one woman, one quick act of love, the Greeks tracked Helen down and slaughtered thousands. Consider, too, the way this clever leader slaughtered what he loved for what he hated, abandoning his home, the precious love of a child, for a woman who wasn't taken by force, but went freely. And when the Greeks came at last to the Scamander, all along its banks, they were cut down one after another, though no one had been menacing their homeland, raiding their borders, scaling their high-walled cities. And those the war god caught never again got to see their children, their bodies not wrapped in winding sheets by their wives' hands. Instead, they all lie, buried in a foreign land. While at home it goes no better, for the wives die widows, the old die childless, the old who raise their children up for what? So that there would be nobody at their tombs to offer sacrifice. This is the praise their armies earned. Silence better suits such shamefulness.
You are giddy at your own calamities and brightly sing of what your song keeps dark.
I'd never want my muse to be a singer of anything but disaster.
If Apollo hadn't made you crazy, we'd punish you for hurling such evil omens at our leaders as they leave your country. But those called high and mighty are in the end the same as anyone, for the great Greek king, beloved son of Atreus, has yoked himself to a passion for this lunatic. While I, poor man that I am, would never leave my sandals by her bed.
Hand me the torch, child. Hand it to me now. In your mad rush, you're carrying it wrong. It isn't straight. These new trials haven't shocked you into sanity, but left you as you were.
Now, think about the Trojans. Consider how they have by far the greater glory. They died defending their homeland, and those cut down by the spear were carried home by loved ones who by right prepared their corpses for burial and buried them in their ancestral earth's embrace. And those who fought and lived found comfort day by day at day's end with their wives and children. Pleasures forbidden to the Greeks.
Women of Troy, come, take away these torches and let's replace her wedding songs with tears.
There is no need then, mother, to bemoan our country or my marriage. By marrying, I'll kill the very ones we hate the most.
Mad woman, I scatter to the four winds your Greek rant and Trojan praise. Follow me to the ships, a perfect bedmate for our wise leader. And you too, Hecuba. Go willingly when Laertes' son arrives, for everyone who comes to Troy says she's a good woman, the woman whose slave you'll be.
This servant is too
clever for his own good. Why do we flatter them with the name herald, when all the world hates them, knows they're nothing but factotums, lackeys, lapdogs of thugs in state? You say my mother will go to Odysseus' palace. And yet, Apollo, in his own words, told me she'll die right here at home. Oh! I won't say more. What good would telling the rest do, except to hurt her? Odysseus! No, the fool. He thinks his trials are over. But what's in store for him will make my suffering and the suffering of Troy seem like a paradise by comparison. After 10 years here, he won't go home. For 10 more years he'll face the whirling terror of Charybdis in the narrow strait, and the mountain-dwelling, moody Cyclops who rip flesh raw from the bone, and Circe the Ligurian witch who turns man into pigs, and he'll be shipwrecked too in the heaving sea, and feel desire for the lotus, and hear the bloody flesh of the sacred oxen of the sun sizzle an unholy sickening sound, and after troubles on the sea, he'll find even his homeland infested with more trouble. Watch me, everybody, watch and learn. This would be my last chance. Watch me do wonders or watch me burn. Watch Cassandra's fire dance. But what's the point of flinging prophecies of all Odysseus will suffer? It's time to marry my bridegroom in the house of death. Goodbye, Mother. Don't cry. Oh, my beloved country, and my brothers in the world below. Soon, you and our father will welcome me among you when I've brought down the ruining house of Atreus and sink triumphant into the sunken dead.
No. Leave me where I am, my women, where I've fallen. A kindness isn't kindness when it isn't wanted. Is it any wonder I should faint? For all I suffered, and have suffered, and for all the suffering still to come. Oh, gods! You useless allies in a time of need! And yet we're helpless not to call on them whenever trouble strikes. But let me sing of happier times one final time so that my old good luck intensifies your pity. For my bad luck now.
Hear the ancient tale told again.
Yes. Sing, Muse. Sing of Troy. Sing full of tears a death song in a new key. In a strange key, for I will sing my ode for Troy about my own destruction. How I was made a wretched slave by the four-wheeled horse the Greeks left there at the gate.
I was queen once. I married royalty and I had royal sons. supreme among the Phrygians, sons no Trojan or Greek or any other foreign mother could ever brag of having, and I had to watch them, every one of them, son by son, brought down by the Greek spear.
Our people on the Trojan rock.
Trojan rock, Trojan rock, rejoicing, shouted, our troubles are over. Go bring inside the image cherished by the Trojan goddess Zeus's daughter.
The horse, go get it now.
And who among us, old and young, didn't run from their houses to sing and dance around it?
As they pulled it in, enchanted with their own death in disguise.
And all the Trojan people, all of us, swelled to the gates to bring in the gleaming treachery.
Of mountain pinewood to the goddess, a gift of Troy's destruction to the virgin goddess.
And when night fell on their jubilant work,
the Libyan flute played Trojan melodies,
while girls stepped, joyously singing joyous songs.
And later in the houses, torch fires flickered the darkness
of a happy sleep.
I too sang in the palace, sang.
Then suddenly everywhere throughout the city,
a blood-soaked cry as children cowered behind their mothers, trembling, clutching their mothers' dresses, their only shield,
as Lord came stalking from his hiding place.
I cut my hair in mourning at their tombs. I wept for their father Priam, whose butchering at the household altar I didn't hear about. I saw with my own eyes. I saw firsthand a city overrun and torched. I watched the hands of strangers take my daughters I reared for husbands we would choose, as if I raised them to be stolen from me. My daughters I'll never see again, who'll never see their mother. I am no mother.
The handiwork of Athena, Trojans butchered at the altars, husbands beheaded on the desolate beds,
from which their wives were taken to bear sons for Greece. Troy's last humiliating pain.
What will I be? I, the mother of Hector. What will I do? Bake bread and lay my bent back on the ground, far from the sheets of my royal bed? My raw flesh dressed in rags, I who once wore luxurious robes. Look at the misery I've suffered, and will go on suffering, and why? Because of what? One woman's marriage? Cassandra, my daughter, you breathed your inspiration from the gods. But now on what humiliating bed will you have lost your purity? And Polyxena, my poor Polyxena, where are you? So many children and not a single one. Not one of them has left to ease my pain. Yet you would help me to my feet. For what? What's left to hope for? Never mind how rich a man may be. Don't call him lucky till he's dead and gone.
Before we go any further, some backstory needs to be told. It started when Discord, the goddess of chaos, decided to conjure from air an apple of gold.
And Discord inscribed on this apple for the very most fair.
And when not on the guest list for some silly party, Discord made certain that the apple was nonetheless there. Of course, every goddess who saw it said, "Hey, most fair, that's for me." And after a time of extensive debate, the contenders for the apple and the title were whittled to three.
Hera, the queen of the heavens.
Myself, Athena, the keeper of wisdom, and the so-called goddess of love, Aphrodite. That's when the trouble began. So Zeus then sent us to Earth, to this country that used to be Troy, where lived the world's best assessor of beauty, Paris, a prince in disguise as a shepherd boy.
this war.
La 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 bloodshed.
La la destruction.
La 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 chaos above and below. La 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 suffering.
La la defeat.
La 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 on.
With a show. Yeah!
Hecuba! Look over there, you see her? Andromache and Synax.
Cage!
Poor woman. Where are they taking you?
The Greeks, our masters, are taking me away. You cry my cry. For these afflictions.
Oh, Zeus!
For this hard fate.
Oh, my children, oh, my highborn children.
Once but now no longer.
Our Troy, our palace,
all
lost.
mine.
So
lost.
Protect my
Cities.
husband. Protect me.
It's a shade, my child. My son's a shade.
I want to die. I can't control this longing for my lost city.
This is our fate, sad one. This anguish.
Because the gods hate us. Your son Paris eluded death and in a cursed bed brought down Troy's towers. And now the mangled, blood-soaked bodies lie sprawled at the feet of Athena for the vultures to carry piece by piece away. Your son, he alone yoked Troy to slavery.
My homeland, my unhappy homeland. You see your bitter end come round at last.
I weep for you abandoned.
Children, your mother has no city.
And no children either.
And I weep too for the houses where I bore my children. Mother, so many Greeks, look at me, do you see this?
I see the work of gods who build up towers out of nothing and sweep away like nothing towers we think no one could ever topple.
My child and I are spoils now being taken away. Mere loot. Royalty and the great turning of the wheel become the slaves of others. And more suffering lies in wait for you.
I know. There is no end to my suffering. Evil elbows, evil all around me!
Polyxena's dead. Killed on Achilles' grave. A final gift to him, a corpse to a corpse.
The pain cuts even deeper. So that's what Talthybius meant. His riddling words have all come clear.
I was there. I saw her myself. I climbed down from the cart and covered her body with robes and wailed and beat my breast.
My child. My poor Polyxena, to be sacrificed so brutally. Your throat slit in a dead man's tomb.
What was. But being dead, she's better off than I am still alive.
No, child. You're wrong. There is hope in life. In death, there's nothing. The two are opposites.
Mother, listen to me. To me, there is no difference between death and never being born. And death is better by far than living a life flooded with pain. One who falls from good luck to bad luck doubly suffers from remembering the good luck that he's lost. Polyxena's dead, but it's as if she never lived at all, for all she knows of what she once went through. My beloved Hector was everything I ever wanted in a husband. My first and only love, he took me, still a virgin, from my father's house. But I fell short of the happiness I thought I'd won by working hard in Hector's house, doing whatever custom says a woman ought to do. I pushed away that scandalous desire to be out and about. I kept my house clean of the gossipy chatter that passes for cleverness amongst most women. I held my tongue, deferring to my husband when he spoke. And yet, my good name and reputation reached the Greek camp, and Achilles' son no less chose me to be his wife when I was captured. I'll now be a slave in the house of killers. So tell me, what do I do? If I erase the memory of my beloved Hector, and give my heart to my new master, I'll betray the dead. But if I don't submit, I'll be hated by my new husband. I know it's said that one night in a man's bed is enough to turn a woman's hate to love, but I despise the woman who casts away old love and loves again so easily. Can't you see, Hecuba, that Polyxena's death, which makes you weep, doesn't compare to what I have to suffer? Even slim hope, the last refuge of most people, is denied to me. No, I can't fool myself. However pleasant it would be to do so, that I'll ever be happy in this world again. I've never in my life stepped foot on a ship. But I know when the wind is soft and steady, the sailors are all eager to embark. One ready at the helm, one at the sails, and one to scoop the seeping bilge. But when the sea heaves its rough weight against the deck, they scurry from their posts. The ship goes where the waves toss it. So it is with me. Trouble swells on gathering trouble so fast, so deep, I can't describe it. I can't speak. Words fail me in the onrush of pain the gods keep sending. But child, what good can mourning Hector do him now? Your tears won't bring him back. Bow down to your new master. By your behavior, lure him into love. This way you'll help us all. You'll please us all. You'll keep my grandson safe. And maybe someday he or his descendants will come back to Troy and bring this city back to life.
But now, when you turn, see him? Do you see him coming towards us? The Greek lackey? I wonder if he'll announce some new directive.
Wife of Hector, once the bravest man in Troy, don't hate me for what I've come to tell you. This wasn't my decision, but the unanimous decision of the Greeks and the grandson of Pelops. I'd rather tell you anything but this.
What can this mean? This tease of hateful news to come?
It's been decided that your son... how can I say this?
You can't mean we'll have two different masters.
No Greek will ever own him. No, I don't mean that.
Will he be left here, last one of the Trojan race?
No, but there's no easy way to tell that.
Thanks for the kindness, unless your news is even worse.
They're going to kill your boy.
No!
Sorry, truth. Now you know.
No, you can't. This is too cruel to be believed.
Odysseus talked his proposal through the Greek assembly.
I know one can bear this. This is great beyond great.
He convinced them not to let a hero's son survive.
May his own son one day be treated just as kindly.
He said he's to be flung from the Trojan wall.
No!
But don't resist. It will be wiser not to let your son go. Don't cling to him. Don't fight this. Grieve nobly. Befitting your nobility. You don't have the strength to fight us. You have no strength. You have no power. Look at where you are. What you've come to, your city ruined. Your husband dead. You are beaten down. Defeated. Go.
Form a line! Form a line! Ha! 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 Ha!
whatever we want with you mere women. Don't struggle anymore. Don't provoke us or make things worse for us. For if you make us angry, the army might decide to show this son of yours no mercy.
Where's the mercy in all this?
Leaving his corpse unburied.
Not even a barbarian could invent atrocities like this. Why kill this child? What has he done to you? Who has he harmed?
You! Helen! Zeus was never your father. I'll tell you who your many fathers were. Vengeance, envy, death, murder, and all the pestilence the earth can breed. Zeus never gave you birth. You plague to both Greeks and barbarians.
Oh, may you die now.
You with those bright eyes who brought such dark and ugly dying to the famous plains of Troy.
Hush now. Shoulder your troubles as you should, and maybe your dead child will receive his due of burial, and the Greeks will be less cruel.
Go on, take him. Carry him off. Hurl him to his destruction, or even eat his flesh, if that's your will. The gods are surely murdering a mother who cannot save her own child from death. My own child's blood is paving the road I take to this new marriage. Wait. One moment, please.
Laying by the rule book, staying in the lines, anticipating everybody's needs. Quietly engaging, supremely competent, pretending not to care when someone spills their tea. But look what it gets me. Look what it gets me. Needing next to nothing to keep my boat afloat. Everything ordered and everything clean. Exceeding expectations, succeeding by design. Look what it gets you. My child, my son, this is a world without play, a world of abandon where things fall away. My child, this is a world where things disappear, but I will be here. I will always be here. Ruined by these ruins, contained by these remains, my son and my future, my anchor and my breeze, forgotten but familiar, this terrible fear, embracing, letting go, that's what mothers must do. Look what it gets you. Look what it got me. Look what it gets me.
I will take you, child. no longer to be held within your heart-sick mother's loving arms to the highest rampart, or it's been ordered you will meet your ends. He's got to be a ruthless man to be the bearer of an order cruel as this. My heart just isn't hard enough. My heart just isn't hard enough.
Oh, child, child of my own sad child, your life is being ripped from us, your mother and I. What now? What next? Oh, Troy, no one could count the thousands upon thousands of your children who've been slaughtered for the sake of one woman and her evil marriage.
Like a mother bird crying for its chicks.
The beach cries everywhere along its length.
Crying out for husbands here.
And there for children, for palsied mothers too. The beach cries everywhere, and it's all gone. Your dear bright bathing places, the tracks that you ran on.
And love. Love deep-rooted in the sky-born minds. How high, how lofty you lifted Troy up once, marrying her to the gods.
But what good does it do now, blaming Zeus for that? Dawn, friend to mortals, rising on white wings of light, looked on as the land burned.
And the gods who loved Troy once
Love Troy no longer!
Who, as you all know, is why we are here today in this war, in this ongoing circus.
How gloriously bright! The sun is shining. On this long 4 day, when I finally get to lay my 2 hands on that woman. My wife. And yet, I came to Troy not as most people think, for her alone, or her primarily, but to exact revenge against the man, a guest I honored in my very home, who then betrayed me, stealing my wife away. Well, he's gotten his just desserts, I can tell you that. Thanks to the gods, the Greek spear was the last thing he and his homeland felt before they fell. But now that's over with. And here I am for her, the Spartan.
He can't even bring himself to say her name, though he was once married to her.
She's just another Trojan woman. A prisoner among prisoners. A slave. And those who fought on my behalf have given her back to me to kill. Or bring home alive to Argos, if that's what I want to do. I've decided not to concern myself with all this here, but to return with her to Greece by ship and kill her there as punishment for all the friends who fell beside me on the plains of Troy. Go, men, get her, drag her down, drag her by the hair so many died for.
She is the only one with good hair.
When the wind is right, We'll bring her home to Greece.
Or so he thinks.
Menelaus, you're right to want to kill your wife. But whatever you do, don't look at her. Don't look at Ares' eyes. They ambush with desire. They snare the eyes of men. And she herself, she's hell for cities, burning hell for homes. Her power will trick you into helplessness. You and I, we've both suffered from her charm, the way so many others have. We know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Helen of Troy.
Menelaus, how could you treat me like this? How could you let your flunkies put their filthy hands on me and drag me here? You really must hate me. And yet, all the same, I want to ask you something. Have the Greeks decided if I'll live or die?
No, nothing firm yet. But the army did turn you over to me, expecting I would kill you. Since it's me who you betrayed.
Can I respond to that? Can I try and show you that it would be unjust if you did kill me?
I came here to see you die, not hear you speak.
Let her speak, Menelaus. She shouldn't die without a hearing. But let me be the one to cross-examine her. I know better than you the havoc she's wreaked on Troy. A free debate will lead inevitably to her death.
Okay. Well, this will take up time. Go on. She can speak if she wants to. But make no mistake, I'm granting her this opportunity because of you. For your sake. Not hers.
This is an act we had not planned. The ships are waiting. And
You hate me now. You hate me now so much that maybe you won't listen to anything I have to say, no matter how well I say it. Nevertheless, I know exactly what you would accuse me of if you did speak, and I have arguments to make in my defense. First, Paris was the cause of all our trouble. This woman here gave birth to Paris. Thus, she's the mother of the cause of all our trouble. Secondly, her husband, the old king, led to Troy's downfall, and mine by letting him live, the infant Alexander.
Better known as Paris.
And then, of course, there was what happened next with the goddesses. Let's discuss the logical effects of everything that followed. Aphrodite won. I married Paris, and Greece has flourished. And yet, what's given Greece such great good luck has only meant bad luck for me. Once brokered for my beauty, I'm now hated by the very ones who ought to crown my head in gratitude.
This woman invokes Aphrodite as a smokescreen.
I'll defend the goddesses against this woman's libelous attack. Would the goddess Hera or the virgin goddess Athena ever be so incredibly foolish as to either sell out Argos the barbarians or let Athenians become the slaves of Troy? I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe the goddesses would come to Ida for games, much less a silly Miss Olympia competition. Why would Hera even be concerned with being beautiful? So that she can snare a husband better than Zeus? Is Athena now on the lookout for a spouse, despite her having asked her father once to let her stay a virgin because she hated marriage? Don't hide your own stupidity behind this flighty vision of the gods. You won't convince anyone with any common sense.
I know you'll say that I haven't yet addressed the major charge against me, my alleged elopement. I did escape in secret from your house, I admit that. But listen, when Paris or Alexander or Hecuba's wicked genius, whatever you want to call him, when he came here, Aphrodite No meager goddess was right there by his side, and this was the man, you fool, you left me alone with in your own house when you went off to Crete. So, let me ask myself, if not you, this question. What was I thinking when I followed him? A stranger from home, betraying home and country. The goddess should get blamed for this, not me. So go punish her. If you think you're mightier than Zeus, who's master of all other gods, but a slave to her.
You claim Aphrodite accompanied my son to Menelaus' house, which is such a ridiculous idea, for she's a god and could have stayed right in heaven where she was and still have gotten you to Troy if she desired. Let's face it, my son was the handsomest of men. You saw him, and instantly your mind itself turned into Aphrodite, who, after all, is just the name we give to lust run wild. You saw him. He made you chafe against your austere life and dream of getting free of Sparta. Menelaus' palace was too small for you. It cramped your riotous desires.
I should be forgiven. I can just see what you're thinking now. The empty argument you still hold against me. Once Paris was dead and buried, the god made marriage dissolved. Why didn't I leave his house and return to the Argive ship?
That's right.
The fact is, I did. I tried to leave many times. The Trojan Tower guards will tell you, for they saw me. The watchmen on the walls, they saw me too. They saw me and often found me trying to sneak away, letting myself down from the battlements by rope. How then, my husband, would it be just to kill me? Paris took me by force. I was more slave than a bride. What have I won but slavery? This is the gods' doing, and your desire to undo what the gods did is dangerously stupid.
You claim my son abducted you? That you went kicking and screaming? Well, if so, what Spartan saw you? Who heard you cry? And what about how you behaved in Troy? When the Greeks tracked you down and a bloody war had started, your heart turned with the tide of battle. When the Greeks got the upper hand, you taunted my son, praising Menelaus, saying what a glorious warrior he was, what a superior lover. But when the Trojan side did well, it was as if you didn't even know who Menelaus was.
This woman freely exchanged my home for a stranger's, my bed for his.
In other words, you had no loyalty to anyone, but followed fortune, drifting where it went. You claim that you would try to escape, that you would let yourself down by rope secretly from the walls, that we kept you here against your will? Well, if so, why'd no one ever find you with a noose around your neck or sharpening a sword for you to fall on? The kind of act a noble, heartsick woman for her husband would have surely done. Let's face it. Time and time again, I told you, believe us, my daughter. There are other girls my son can marry. I'll help you sneak away. I'll take you secretly to the ships. Please end this war between the Greeks and Trojans. You ignored me, spurned my advice. Your need for adoration overran the palace. Given your many crimes, you should be drowning in shame, not basking in arrogance. Menelaus, I'm finished speaking. You've heard my arguments. Now do what would be worthy of your country's honor and your own, and kill this woman, and make her an example to all other wives, that anyone who betrays her husband dies.
Menelaus, give your wife the justice she deserves.
I'm completely on your side in this debate. So go. Find those people who would kill you by stoning. People keen to get revenge for all the Greeks have suffered. You'll learn respect for me too late by dying.
No. Dear Menelaus, please, I don't deserve to die. Please.
Troy, or Helen of whichever way the wind blows. One day you love Paris, one day Menelaus, depending where victory goes. And don't you look beautiful, dressed like a queen, the ground never touching your feet? The gods are unjust, if there even are gods, that you do not feel this defeat.
Maybe my face launched 1,000 ships. Maybe I'm the reason the world we knew is gone. Do you think I had a choice? Do you think I had a voice? I was and I am a pawn.
You traded our home for a stranger's home, our life for a stranger's life, our love for a stranger's love. You traded our bed for a stranger's bed.
You deserve to die for all you've done and all you have yet to do. You deserve to die for all the Trojans and the Spartans who have died for you.
Maybe my face launched 1,000 ships.
All you have
Maybe I'm the reason the world we knew
and
is
all
gone.
you have yet to do.
Do you think I had a choice?
Deserve to
Do you think I
die.
had a voice? I was and I am a pawn.
Remember your comrades that she has killed.
Be quiet, Hecuba! I haven't listened to a word she said. I'm taking her to the ships for the journey home.
Thank you, Menelaus, Helen, and Hecuba.
But
Now
don't
we
let her sail
will
on the same ship as you.
Why not?
You fall for someone like her, you fall for good.
Not always. That depends on how she acts. Still, what you suggest makes sense, and I agree she should travel on another ship. And when we get to Argos, she will die. A wretched death a slut like her deserves. I'll make her an example to all women to be faithful.
And farewell to the fair Helen, whose story continues past these shores.
So, Zeus, so this was your design, to betray us to the Greeks? Gone! All of your sacrifices! I have to wonder, Lord, I have to wonder what you had in mind as you glanced down from your astral throne on the collapsing city and the wave upon wave of flames crashing against it. I'm buried and touched. You want to rest with all the creatures and oversee the children. Children crowds. Zeus himself hurled down a Aegean lightning bolt against the ship that carried Menelaus over the sea. May they all still take me away from you, all by myself to ships, where I have to slave my life away in Greece, while Helen holds in her hand the golden mirror the girls love to gaze into. She holds again that slave. Destruction here, to the shores of Troy. Disaster coming and yet the wake of another disaster. There lies the murdered body of the Steinhouse, hurled like a discus from a wall.
river. One ship remains. The oars are poised above the salt spray, ready to take back to Greece what's left of the spoils of Achilles' son. Neoptolemus himself has set sail already and took Andromache with him. It made me cry to hear her crying as she left, to hear her grieving out loud for her homeland and begging Neoptolemus to bury Astyanax's body, your own son's son, flung to his cruel death from the city walls. She pleaded with Neoptolemus not to take this bronze-backed shield which terrified the Greeks when Hector wore it across his body in defense. She begged him that it remain here and that the child be buried on it, not in a cedar coffin, but in a stone tomb, but on the shield itself. She begged him that the child be given to you, so that you could swaddle him in winding sheets and wreaths, adorning him as best you can with what little you have left. You see, it's up to you to do this now because she's gone. Now listen. When you've gotten the body ready, we'll bury it and set sail, so do what you've been told to do as quickly as you can. I've spared you one chore, though. As we crossed over the waters of the Scamander, I washed the little corpse and cleaned his wounds. And now I'll even break the ground and dig his grave.
Set down Hector's round shield on the ground. How I suffer at the sight of it. You Greeks, your weaponry holds more strength than wisdom. Why kill this child? Why murder him in such a brutal way? Why were you scared of him? You're still scared of him. This little child! I loathe you for this fear no reason penetrates! And you, beloved child, how miserably you've died. Your father's walls, the battlements Apollo built, have ripped the curls from your head. The curls your mother fussed over and kissed. The skull now broken, bright blood gushing up like wicked laughter between the bones. I won't conceal or soften the brutality of this. Your hands, so sweetly like your father's once, hang broken at the joints. Look at them! But it is I who say goodbye to you, who bury you so young. I, an old, heartbroken woman, without a child, without a city. Oh God! All those embraces, what were they for? Would any poet write on your epitaph? The Greeks were terrified of this little boy, and so they killed him. The man who feels safe in his blessings and rejoices is a fool. The way of fortune is to leap about in all directions like a wild man, and no one controls the happiness he has.
we bring what little remains of the Trojan spoils to adorn the body.
My child, I lay upon you what precious things we still have left from what had once been yours. Adorning you with them, but not in joy. No. This is all that Helen has left us. All she didn't steal. God hated as she is, she who robbed us blind. And then destroyed your life. And set our whole house, all of it, down to ruin.
You break my heart.
Atrocities like these will not be forgotten.
Over and over. You women.
Hecuba, say what's on your mind. So in the end, the gods did nothing. Anguish, and more anguish is all they ever brought, and a sharper hatred for my city. Yet, it's said that if God's fist hadn't battered us to nothing, what fame would we have had? We would have gone unsung, unknown and sung by those to come. Oh. We bury the corpse now in its paltry tomb. It has what flowers it needs. Besides, what difference can a flowery display make to the one who's dead? Adornments like these are only the cheap solace of the living.
Oh, look now. Up there, men on Troy's high walls. Are those torch flames in their hands?
Hurl the fire now! And as soon as Ilium's citadel crumbles and falls, we'll gladly at last sail home from Troy. And you daughters of the Trojans, start moving to the ships that wait to take you from this land. And you go too. Saddest of all old women. These are Odysseus' men. Chance sends you from your homeland to be his slave.
I can take no more of the story of your doing, Athena. I must go now and prepare the storm.
Although we meddle in the present by our whims, we cannot always see the future or change the will of men.
Ladies!
And gentlemen.
We leave you now to watch the final march of fate of these poor women.
Let us end this tale of woe. Carry on, carnies, finish your task. And I leave you now, dear mortals, to return to Olympus.
And I to the sea.
Oh, Troy! Whose great name roared like a wind across all Asian people. Your very name is being disappeared. Let's run into the pyre. Better to die here burning as my homeland burns. Troy burns. Troy burns. Troy burns!
Poor woman, your mind is broken under the weight of all that pain.
Troy Homeland is dwindling the way smoke bends to nothing on a wing of wind.
Troy burns. Troy burns. Troy burns. Grieve for the saddest of all cities.
But as you grieve, keep moving to the ships.